Good morning, guys. It's Friday here at the Vietcetera office, and we're super happy to welcome Greg Ohan, a very good friend of ours. He's the director at Sonatus and also of the Sentry, co-founder actually as well. Although, from what I understand, your titles are a little bit different. So instead of me making these assumptions this morning, how about, Greg, you introduce yourself to our readers this morning?
Hey guys, how's everyone going? How good to see you this Friday. So yeah, a little bit about myself. I've been in Vietnam over 10 years. But my latest venture, I guess the reason why we're here, it's a pretty exciting one actually. It's mainly real estate related. So I've recently founded a new management agency called The Sentry, Thesentry.
Okay.
Basically means the guardian. It's an asset management, real estate management firm. And partnered with another local partner. And as you mentioned, our first project's a building called Sonatus. So in terms of titles, kind of a jack of all trades at the moment, but I'd like to call myself a property concierge.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for the vision of the project? Because property concierge, it's a lot more casual, a lot more informal, in a hopefully a good way, obviously. And most real estate firms and real estate staff, they're always in suits. They're looking really professional. What is the vibe that you want to give off at Sonatus and the Sentry?
Yeah, look, it's something which this whole idea was a sort of demand-driven concept. So real estate's so stale. And the way the market is in Vietnam, if you look at the types of office occupiers, because we're focused on the commercial section, the biggest drivers, we don't have a big banking sector, we don't have a big finance sector like Singapore and Hong Kong. So most of the people aren't coming to work in three-piece suits. The average age of a person is under 25 or 30. In our project, we've got tenants like TikTok, Shopee, Foodie. I'm probably the oldest person in most of the buildings I'm in. So there's a kind of two-prong approach in what we're trying to do. We're trying to be innovative. We're trying to be disruptive in terms of what we provide by service, quality, technology. But also we're trying to bring a bit more of a human element, a bit more of a experience to the management side of a property, which, after spending 10 years here and having worked on some of the biggest projects, including this one here when it was built, it's something that's lacking. And so far it's going well.
Excellent. Yeah. Great. And maybe you can share more about your experience too. You've been here 10 years. From what I remember, you've worked at JLL, Warburg Pincus, was it?
Yeah.
And maybe you can share about how those experiences kind of led you to where you are now, because those are, very large companies. They've been around for centuries, maybe, I'm not even sure. What did you learn there that kind of informed starting your new kind of ventures today?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one because my career journey really started in Vietnam. I always worked in real estate. I started in Australia, in Sydney, where I'm from, then transferred to Hong Kong, worked there for a while, and I actually came when in my early 20s. I'm not that old now, but I came backpacking here in Vietnam, and I was like, dude, if I can find a real job, I would come back to this country in a heartbeat. So in 2010, back when the Vietnam market was toxic, no one really wanted to come here. It was still very frontier. It wasn't a place where a senior executive in his family would really want to move. So naturally, I put my hand up, and I came here in 2010, end of 2010 with CBRE. Great experience, phenomenal company. I worked for them for 10 years, and it was a very different game. Real estate in terms of innovation was pretty Spartan.
Very low priority.
Very low priority. It was very build it and they will come. Vietnam, or Ho Chi Minh, is still one of the best performing office markets, not because of the extremely high demand and big space users. It's really because of supply and demand. So developers haven't really had to be innovative. Agencies really haven't had to think outside the box. Because it was quite an immature market, people just saw a foreign brand and they associated quality and experience. That's where I sort of started off, and then I moved into development, worked for a PE fund JV with Beckham X and Warburg Pincus for a short time. Then after a while, I moved back to Australia last year and realised that wasn't a good move. Had huge FOMO. I could just see Vietnam in the headlines constantly. You know, this was the pre-COVID world when everything was rosy and optimistic. And so in January, I came back working with some good friends of mine, a family I'd worked with in the past. They own a building called Sonatus. And we started working together. They developed an amazing project, one of the newest grade, I'd call it a premium grade office building downtown. And they finished that building in December, managed to commit some great tenants like WeWork's headquarters, Friesland Campina, you know, big local champions like ACFC, IPP. And then what we saw was that there was a need to provide, well, there's this misconception that foreign brands and foreigners tend to do a better job because of experience. So a lot of developers would hire an agency to provide a brand to give a lot of the tenants confidence when they moved in. And look, that's great. But when it came to delivery, we saw gaps. And working with the developer, what we realized was there was a big focus in, you know, commercial real estate on bringing tenants into the buildings. You know, that's where people get paid and make money. But what we realized was there was a missing link, and the asset management piece, or adding value to the asset, taking care of the asset, looking after it technically, commercially, that area was lacking. That's probably the least sexiest part of real estate. I'm talking about complaints, cleaning toilets, making sure security guards have their hat on straight, making sure people pay rent on time. But at the end of the day, that is the critical piece of adding value and managing a building and maintaining tenants. So we saw a need for that, and we decided that, you know what, we can actually do this. So my partner and I, my business partners being a developer, had that experience in terms of managing assets from the technical side and the operational side. So what I realized was I can bring the commercial side and the operator side and the tenant experience. You know, if I wasn't here, I had opportunities to run some, Fortune 500 agencies here, but I, wanted to create something because I really feel that in Vietnam, there's an opportunity here. You've got dynamic young locals coming back, taking over family businesses, needing direction. And what I've found is the workforce here, especially the younger workforce, you give them an idea, they do it better than most people will, especially senior people. So what we decided was we were going to give it a crack and try and build a brand that focuses purely on international standard property management. So a bit like HSBC being the world's local bank.
Yes.
That idea or that concept of bringing international and making it local, we kind of called it interlocal. So that's what we're trying to bring to the standard of management here. We haven't launched yet, but we're currently working on one project and a couple more to come, and
cool.
It's an exciting ride. Yeah.
Great. So we got the premium office tower. We've got Sonatus, and for those of you that don't know, Sonatus is a premium office tower right on Lê Thanh Ton Street, right on the main street near Japantown. Fabulous little building.
Best building in town.
Not a little building, a very big building actually. It's got like 5,000. Well, at peak occupancy, it'll be close to 5,000 tenants. And then we got Sentry. So that is the disruptor and innovator that we're really wanting to learn more about today. So Greg, I mean, what are the key objectives of these projects? I mean, aside to make a robust business and hopefully, make sure that the team and the vision is fulfilled. But what are those key objectives that you guys have? What are those key results that you would imagine having in 5 years? Like, where do you want the Sentry to be?
Yeah, look, that's actually a good question. Hopefully I'll work that out today. But initially our idea is to take what a big machine will typically do, and some of the big brands, you've got some very big agencies here operating for a while, and make it more adaptable to the local market. What people don't realize, especially downtown in Ho Chi Minh City, moving forward, this is a completely localized real estate developer market. land availability is scarce. The available land is largely controlled by local groups or state-owned. So you're not going to see many Hong Kong Land, Capital Land, Maple Tree, those big Asian corporate brands developing office buildings downtown unless they've acquired it from someone. So the first thing I recognized, and the first, I guess the vision we have, is to cater for that market. And so...
Be a bridge in a way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Build trust with these maybe skeptical but very hungry for deals. They're looking for high quality deals. You want to be positioned as one of those, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're really understanding that, you know, a lot of developers here, again in Vietnam, this is a new market. People are building buildings for the first, second time. You know, they really need someone that understands how to operate a building. They don't just need a brand to attract tenants. That's the first step. You know, what I've learned here is the second step is the most difficult step, the management, the continuity. You know, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. And that's what's really lacked. And that's a lot of pain that developers have in the market. So what we've really tried to do is cater for that aspect. You know, in the future, the biggest developers in the next 3 to 5 years are going to be people who are building buildings for the first, second time. So they need real hands-on support, someone that's representing them and is on their side. And so that's what was really lacking. So what we do is, you know, not like other agencies, we're not there to sell space. We're not there to make money off leasing. What we focus on is purely the management side. So we act as their in-house team. And our point of difference moving forward is really the prop tech aspect that we're working on. And it's a little bit top secret, so I can't get into too much of it. But that's really the disruptor element. And we're working on prototypes at the moment, which will change the way people work. Excel 101 is what people are using at the moment. So what we're hoping to do in the next 24 months is take it to the next level.
Yeah, that was my next question for you, is like, what is obviously from a service side and your vision, it's very innovative and disruptive. From the actual product side, you know, this prop tech thing, maybe you can't share too much today, but I'd love to get your thoughts on prop tech in general in Vietnam, because we see this emergence of these prop tech companies. You know, they're addressing the consumer side, and in your case, I guess mostly commercial, even co-living. There's just so many different things going on. What's your take on prop tech in general, and maybe specifically in Vietnam? Are there any players that you see that to be potentially interesting? What kind of potential for disruption is there? Maybe we can comment with, again, not what you're doing because it's not quite ready yet, but maybe what's out there currently.
Yeah, look, at the moment, there really isn't much out there. You know, the extent of technology at the moment in real estate, you see a lot of it in residential real estate where you have a portal and an app.
Yes.
For a lot of people, that's a big step. If you're over 40, downloading an app is probably the most high-tech thing you're going to do for a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
So a lot of the people who the market caters to is that demographic. But moving forward, the decision makers are going to be people who are satisfied with an app and a simple procedure that just merely involves logging into a website. So what we're trying to do is automate things. Who's doing it at the moment? I don't see much of it in our space. Purely because there's such a monopolized service provider market where there's only 1 to 2 operators running it. And so they don't really necessarily need to think outside the box. Our goal is to disrupt that. We want to provide a product that systemizes things, has everything in one place, and gives developers the opportunity to not just see the technical operations, but also the commercial side.
So, you know, we've talked a little bit about Sonatus and the Sentry. Tell us about the Orbital. So this is a new real estate development that's happening in the Quang Trung Software Park near the airport. It's a huge campus, and you guys have got a piece there, and you're developing Orbital 1.0, Orbital 2.0. What is that project? Can you share with us today?
Yeah, sure. Look, it's something we're really excited about. I mean, you were out there the other day, right? And I mean, what did you think of it? Had you ever been there before?
I mean, it's really going out to outside of the District 1 bubble. You know, do I go out there a lot? No. I'm sure a lot of university students there. That was the first impression that I got. It was very it's got a community in itself, you know, and hence the name, the software park, right? I think there's an engineering school nearby, universities, a lot of technology companies. So what are you guys trying to do there with Orbital? I mean, the name itself sounds pretty,
pretty cool,
spacey, and what do you call it, futuristic. What is the project all about?
Yeah. Well, maybe let's go back one slide. I mean, what the developers, the developer group that I work for and represent, who are also my partners, I think have really found a niche. So what we saw was a growing e-commerce, tech platform-driven occupier office user market. And on their current project in Sonatus, we saw major drivers from this sector. For a long time, the same group had a office building which actually built for HP as a campus 10 years ago in the Kon Chung Software City, QTSC. This place is amazing. I mean, you wouldn't even know it if you weren't looking for it, but it's a campus that's been around about 10 years, the largest IT park in Ho Chi Minh City. You know, the idea was to make it a Silicon Valley of Ho Chi Minh City. And for some time, it's been a bit of a sleeping giant. The IT sector and the BPO sector in Vietnam's kind of lost out to the Philippines, to India, but we're expecting a big drive forward for this. And so recently there was a building which they built and we're refurbishing and rebranding into Orbital. Orbital's a brand that the developer created focused purely on business park sector. Sonatus is their premium brand. Orbital is their more business park secondary market brand. So what we're looking to do there is really, again, create an alternative destination to people who don't need to be in the CBD. You know, with COVID going on, a lot of people trying to tighten their belt. What we're trying to provide is an ecosystem for tech-based companies who are looking for cost-sensitive real estate solutions. Somewhere where people can live, work, entertain clients. You know, the buildings have a retail portfolio. We're looking to potentially develop some other housing concepts close by. So that's the idea behind Orbital, really. It's large tech-based BPO IT outsourcing companies looking for space outside the CBD, but I guess more importantly, looking for a place where they can secure good young talent, because there's 20,000 people there and about 2 universities and 6 technical colleges.
It's an incubator just for talent and the next generation of those interested in technology, it seems.
Yeah, really, it's a government IT park, but what we're trying to do is make it a little bit more open to a lot more commercial organizations, make it less government feeling and more commercial.
Excellent, great. Well, so 3 projects, a lot of things going on, and more under wraps, I'm sure. You mentioned the housing project. I mean, aside from what's on the horizon in the next 1 or 2 years, what is that housing project that you're thinking of? Is that a new space that you're moving into as well?
No, look, there's a few things going on, because what we're trying to do at Orbital, I mean, you're out there and you did a great job on our marketing on our previous project, so we might get you to help us out on this one too.
Sure.
But the idea is, at the park, you've got this captive ecosystem of 20,000 people. You've got office space, you've got students coming from out of town. Co-working is a big concept we're looking at doing in our building as well. So again, ideas that we're toying with and playing with to be able to create that destination is also co-living. As the market opens up again, people want to be close to where they work. They want to work in an environment where it not just stimulates them work-wise, but they also have entertainment and they can congregate with people who are like-minded. So that's something we might look into later as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got big plans, but taking it step by step.
For sure, for sure. These real estate projects take, they're not overnight. They usually take a couple years to really come to fruition. So we're really looking forward to seeing the results of not only Sonatus, but the Sentry, the Orbital, and any of these other projects that you guys are working on. Thanks for coming on the show today, Greg. It's been a pleasure to learn more about real estate and all things that are going on in that space, and I'm sure our readers will be hungry for more. If you guys are interested in learning more about Sonatus, we've got a ton of content on Vietcetera. Greg and his team, they're out there in the community and always eager to share, so hope to hear from them more. Greg, any last words you might want to share about your project?
No, look, I think it's, for anyone, it's an exciting time. Regardless of the fact that COVID's affecting everyone, I think this is a great time for people to innovate, for people to step back, plan and strategize, and take advantage of this opportunity, because a down market is where you can really take the next step and position yourself when things pick up. So that's all I'll say. Even for office occupiers, times are tough, but even landlords are open. They'll do transactions and deals to suit people. So, we're in a little bit of a bubble here. We're kind of protected and insulated. It's still challenging, but for anyone out there, there's still opportunities. And I guess the idea of today is the innovation aspect. This is a better time than any to start being innovative.
Excellent. Well, thanks for tuning in to the most recent episode of Vietnam Innovators. We're really, again, thankful for your time this morning, Greg, and we hope to see you again soon. Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
We'd also like to give a big thanks to our sponsors, Jio Health, our launch partner in this new series. Jio is one of the must-watch innovators in the technology and healthcare space in Southeast Asia. They are best known for their doctor-at-home services, introducing the likes of a new smart clinic at M Plaza in Saigon. For those interested in watching the technology and healthcare space, they are definitely one of the ones to watch.